love is a bet. Sometimes you win it, sometimes you lose it, sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Give me your pretty, give me your messy, give me your happy, give me your sad. I may be staying, I may be going, I may be left, I may fall apart. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Come to my table, come to my bed, go easy my hunger, easy my head, bringing me fire, bringing me water, taking me high, taking me down. Taking me down. Taking me down.
Well, for those of you who do not know what kind of wood this would be elm. Now, around here it is hard getting elm of this size anymore because of Dutch elm disease. It came through and it has wiped out quite a bit. This is not the biggest slab in the world, but it's a decent size. And it's a little over 18 inches there, almost 21 inches there, over 18 inches there. Now, this tree came out of a yard. It was standing alone. That's probably why it lasted a little longer until it finally died. It's really sad because not a lot of people know what a really mature elm tree looks like anymore, at least over here in the Northeast. And these things used to get really, I mean, just massive. The biggest one I've ever seen living in my lifetime was a 3-foot diameter trunk. It died very rapidly. When the Dutch elm disease finally got a hold of it, they wiped it out really quickly. Interesting thing about elm is a super sturdy, strong hardwood. I find it very difficult to work. I find that like white oak and red oak work easier than the elm. Now you can see where I did my router planing. I've got some lines to sand out here. I've got 80 grit sandpaper on my belt sander and it barely scratches it. So elm is not much fun to work with, but you can get some beautiful results with it. Another thing I can tell you, you really got to let this stuff dry. This stuff needs to be really dry before you go to work it because it will move on you quite a bit if it is not. Now this thing was heavily sticker stacked and I had it weighted down. The slab was second or third from the bottom, but it had quite a bit of weight on it. We still had a really big cup on there. You see I didn't really hit the outside here too well. It was over 1/4 inch out here in the middle, and that's how bad it cupped. But when I'm using the router sled, I like to start with the cup up, and that way, you know, the slab's not rocking on me when I'm trying to work it. And then once I get one side done, I'll sand it down quick just so I don't have any high spots that are going to make it wobble or anything. Then we flip it over and do the other side. So we're gonna do that now. That's all we're doing tonight, is pretty much working on this slab. These right here could be a day project all on their own. Yeah, I'll try to see if I can get you guys a good shot of this grain pattern on this elm. It really is a beautiful wood. I've got a light shining on it right now. So kind of tough to see on the phone, but you get a lot of that pattern right there all through it. I really like that. Oh, sorry guys. There we go. You get a lot of that through it, especially the closer you get to the heartwood. It's just a really nice grain. Just a lot of character in there into that pattern. See, my dust mask was dripping from condensation, but you get some decent grain around knots. I know this camera work is pretty shoddy right now, but like I said, I like elm quite a bit. I don't like working it, but I like it quite a bit. Let's see. There we go. That's a little better. But yeah, that's what she looks like. So you get a lot of that in it. That's kind of nice. We're going to see a spot there where we need a bow tie in there. Get a little bit of spalting on the edges where it started to rot. And see, we got a spot right there. We're going to have to fill in a couple of them. Of course, this back edge here will get trimmed off. This will be against the wall. And then up here, yeah, some decent grain, but so anyway, nope, I know I keep screwing with the light, guys, but here she is. All right, folks, there we have it, another one in the books tonight. So, well, now that we're at this point, I think it's fair to say that the timber framing vlog is dead. Not dead, it's just now going to be part of the past, I suppose. Kind of sad, really, you know. I mean, I'll show a lot of stuff as we're getting this place finished off. Obviously, we'll have a lot of that, but the timber framing is pretty well over for a while, at least until I add on to the house. But all things in life, you know, it's all about steps, stages, and processes, and moving on to the next step. So that's what we're doing here. So from here on out, they're pretty much going to be shop vlogs. So I'll do the standard vlog style videos like we've always done, and then I'll do some compilation videos for those of you who don't want to listen to all the rambling and talking and all that stuff, and you just kind of want to see the projects from start to finish that way. So I think that's kind of a fun way of doing things. Nice to have a recap of a total project. So we're coming up on 2 years on this channel here in a few days. I think January 7th, I think, something like that. So we've almost hit 20,000 viewers in this 2 year period. You know, most of those have come in the last 6-7 months, but yeah, we keep growing. We're doing all right. But so anyway, the subject on hand, the subject of this vlog, I guess if you will, that is we surfaced an elm slab tonight. It's a very nice elm slab, and I have a few more of them to do. So I'm revamping, I believe I mentioned in the video ago, I'm revamping some things in the house to get her a little more storage, so I'm not quite so lonely at night, if you know what I'm saying. But so this is kind of the first step, the first project in it, and this is kind of the first project to get me back into the woodworking. Got to remember, it's been about 3 years really since I've gotten to do much of any woodworking at all, and believe it or not, people may not think this, but you do get rusty with your skills. Even with cutting joinery constantly and things like that, it is a little bit different than fine woodworking. Not that I do pristine fine woodworking, but we attempt. We always attempt. But so moving forward, you guys can look forward to a lot of tool restoration, tool making, blacksmithing, woodworking, all the stuff we've been yakking about for the last 2 years on this channel. That faded someday. You know, that's always in the far off distant future, is kind of now upon us. Obviously, there's still some more close-up work to do on the building and things like that, but I'm probably not going to run the camera as much for that anymore. You guys will get to see it when it's done. I'm just going to plug away on it, a few boards here, a few boards there. There's really not that much left to put on, but I do have to kind of stumble around the messes I have created on the backside of this building and try not to break this damn leg again, so that is what it is. But, so anyway, we did that with the router sled tonight. If you guys have slabs to surface, it's probably one of the most cost-effective ways. If you want to do it yourself, you can find places that have wide enough planers and drum sanders to where they can do some really wide slabs. I find that doing this, I like it quite a bit. As I said earlier in the video with the elm, elm is a really hard wood to work with. It's a very hard wood. It doesn't sand easily. It moves a lot on you if it's not dried properly or milled properly. That can be just as important. You guys saw that the cup on this was a good, probably 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch that we had to take off on each side to get it. That went from a 8/4 slab down to 1.25 inches. So yeah, I guess 1/4 inch. But it came out it came out really nice. So it's nice and flat on each side. Now we can work it into a finished product. We're going to leave the live edge on one side. I'm not the biggest live edge fan in the world. It is nice to work with if you're doing it. It can be very rewarding, but I'm more of an old-fashioned, I like the old colonial stuff, things like that, which will be fun in the future when we make the steam, do some steam bending and things like that. Boy, I'm having trouble talking once again, but it's like 12 degrees out here tonight, so it's a little chilly, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than where we were last winter, I can tell you that. But anyway, so if you're looking to surface a wide slab, it's super easy to make a router sled. There's really nothing to them. You just have to make sure everything's good and parallel with each other. As I said earlier, I like to start with the cup facing up so that it's not rocking on the table below it. It helps to have a couple of spacer blocks in between the rails that you're using and the piece, if it's a wide piece. That way, as you're pushing against it with a router, it's not walking all over on you. I did that early on a little bit tonight, and I thought, oh yeah, that's right, put the blocks in, it won't do that, silly. So anyway, enough yakking at you, and one more thing before we leave. The next video, I'm going to show you guys the 242-pound Peterite anvil that I picked up today, about an hour and 20 minutes south. I got a really good deal on it. It needs a little bit of love, but as it stands right now, it is a very usable anvil. There's one section on the edge that's pretty bad, about 6 inches long. We have to take care of that, so there will be some videos on that, but I'm probably not going to do much with that until I get a couple other things wound up, the hinges for the big doors, stuff like that. But that's where we're at, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Look forward to all the new stuff coming up because I'm really looking forward to it. So have a good night, guys. I will see you on the next one.